Well, I just mentioned it's a full moon, and it's full moon in Cancer today. And all I want to say about this is full moon usually makes emotions a little bit more amplified. It is in opposition to the sun, which is what makes it full. But the sun is in conjunction to Pluto. And Pluto is the planet that's considered like the lord of the underworld. And it likes to reveal things. It likes to dig things up. It likes to show things that may have been hidden in some capacity. So there may be some revelations coming about. It could potentially show up in your personal chart if you follow your own astrology. I haven't even looked at mine. I feel like this full moon, and I was listening to another astrologer who was saying the same thing, that it's tied in with Pluto making its return to the United States natal chart coming up in February. This is the first full moon of the year, so it's going to be highlighting and illuminating some of the things that are to come. Now, Venus and Mercury are both in retrograde, so because of that, you may have more feelings surfacing because of Venus. Venus is that love relationship planet. Mercury is the planet of communication. So your feelings may be off, your communication may be off. And anytime with the full moon, we can feel a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more vulnerable, and we can have the tendency to find ourselves in disagreements and arguments and feeling a little defensive. And so be cautious of your communication right now with all this stuff kind of happening, just so that you're not creating any unnecessary chaos or any unnecessary emotions. This is going to be a really big year of a lot more change. And so it's really important to keep with our practice. And it's also really important to, keep checking in with yourself and making sure that you're finding things that are helping you to reclaim your peace, that you're finding things to help to promote more joy in your life. Anything that happens at a micro level, at an individual level, is going to affect the collective or the matrix or everything at a macro level. Just like everything at a macro level affects us at an individual level. So that energy flow is constantly fluid, moving back and forth between the two. So with a full moon, usually the energy is a little bit higher. As you can tell, we've been really talkative and chatty this morning, and that tends to happen with the full moon. So I'm glad you wanted to move. We are going to be doing more of a stronger mix class today. With that being said, let's sit up nice and tall and work into the breath work that is ideal for this particular practice. And before we move into that breath, let's just center with our breath. So have your hands resting anywhere upon your lap. And I will say, if you slide your hands higher up to your thighs towards your hip crease, you'll notice that it gives your heart a natural prop, a natural lift, where you don't necessarily have to engage your core muscles. Since it's earlier in the day, you may find that can be of great assistance. Close the eyes, tune into your body. Had snow and sleet the last couple days. Notice if you feel chilled to the bone. May have been a little lazy at home. You may feel a little dull in certain places. We're going to bring those places back to life. Then also look inward towards any areas that may be causing grief. Maybe some minor ailments that may have been cropping up as of late. Check in with those areas now. If it's really pronounced, you want to be extra cautious. We always want to bring compassion to our practice. And this compassion in action is the affirmative idea of ahimsa. Ahimsa, which is the first principle of yoga, which means non-injury, non-violence, non-harming. This particular principle is how Mahatma Gandhi led the movement in India against the British. And it was the inspiration for Martin Luther King's movement during the civil rights here in the US. So we celebrate him today, and we celebrate the fact that ahimsa, this yogic principle, made an impact even in our society. So let's bring it into play through our poses today. Now that you checked in with your body, deepen the flow of your breath. Breathe in a deep diaphragmatic way. Inflating your lungs on the inhale, depleting them on the exhale. I think all of you are familiar with Ujjayi breath, but just to remind us all, bring your right hand or dominant hand in front of your face. We're going to take a cleansing breath. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Feel the warmth of the breath, and do that again. Feel your throat muscles working and the sound that you're making. Sink that hand back to your lap. Close the lips and activate the Ujjayi pranayama. What's called the victorious breath. Using those whispering muscles. Creating the sound, the song of the soul. This is going to be our go-to breath for our flow today. And this is what I want you to reignite when we come up to stand and begin our sun salutations. So let's go ahead and open up the eyes and come up to stand. In this Ashtanga type format, we use the sun salutations to warm up the body. A little different than the way I conduct blissful flow. So if you stand up to the top of the mat and really root around your feet, feel the muscles starting to come close to the bone. That will also bring in some warmth. Lift for your chest and notice that creates a natural Uddiyana Bandha. You don't necessarily have to zip up your vision. Bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. Close the eyes a moment. Set your personal intention for being here today. Then activate that Ujjayi pranayama. Open up the eyes, and on your next inhalation, let's take the arms up alongside the face. And as you exhale, gently hinge forward from your hips to Uttanasana. We don't pause here. We inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, we're stepping down the length of the mat. Immediately drop your Chaturanga. That's one out breath. Inhale plunges us into upward facing dog. And the exhale rolls us into downward facing dog. Now, in this first downward facing dog, if you want to warm up your hamstrings and calf muscles more, you're welcome to walk it out. Otherwise, you can be still. Take the reins of your breath. You may have lost that Ujjayi breath along the way. Look at it as being your fuel to keep you charged, to keep you energized. On your next inhalation, let's bring the feet to the top of the mat. You could walk, lunge, or float to Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, bow out. Inhale, coming all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Samasthiti. Inhaling. Open and expand yourself. And exhale, hinge forward and lower into self. Inhale, sprout up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. You can go to plank first, or you can bounce back. Inhale, opens the heart. And the exhale takes us to down dog. Lay the fingers, keeping the hands shoulder distance apart. Reach up and out through your seat and bow your head. The eyes are open, gazing towards the feet or the space in between. And then continue to magnify the breath. Now in Ashtanga Yoga, they typically amplify this Ujjayi breath. And if you're more familiar with Vinyasa Yoga, they use a lighter, softer, quieter Ujjayi breath. Allow one or the other to serve you here. Inhale, plant the feet at the top of the mat, lifting up and looking out with your eyes. And then exhale, drop back in. Inhale, root to rise up. Exhale, heart center. Let's continue on with these A's, Surya Namaskaras. Inhale, sweep open, and exhale, release down. Inhale, extend the vertebrae. Exhale, drop and hover. Wait for the inhale to lift you up and bring flexibility to the spine, and allow your exhalation to carry you back. When you're making the transition from up dog to down dog, be mindful that you're not just using your limbs, that you're using the core of the body. This is some weight bearing, so it will strengthen our muscles as well as our bones. This inversion is beneficial to the third eye, to the pineal gland. It can be a replenishment for the brain. So affirm here, calmness radiates through every fiber of my being. Inhale, bring the feet to the top of the mat, lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, build up, stand tall. Exhale, reset and center. One more A. Inhale, open up. Exhale, drop in. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limb staff pose. When you're ready, inhale to upward facing dog and exhaling to downward facing dog. Keep your breath nice and smooth, smooth and rhythmic. That is possible with this pranayama technique. This is where we reclaim the breath in this moment of pause in the mix of movements. Inhaling to the top of the mat, however you want to arrive. Exhale, let go. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer position at the heart. We're moving on to B. Inhale, take your chair pose. Exhale, fold down over straight legs. Inhale, give yourself a little pick me up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows clipping close to the ribs. Inhale, standing on the stilts of the arms, nice open throat. Exhaling, using your core to roll back. Inhale, the right foot steps forward, the back heel lowers. We come up, warrior one. Exhale immediately takes us back into the flow. Once in down dog, left foot steps through next. Coming up, arms framing the face. Exhale takes us back into the flow. Pausing here in the third downward facing dog in this mix. Discovering your breath as if it were for the first time today. Neutralize your neck. Root down through the balls of the feet to activate the legs more. Inhale, bring the feet to the top. Exhale, let the head and heart go. Inhale, we're bending the knees, lifting to chair. Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we keep it rolling. Inhale, chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold down over straight legs. Inhale, sprout up. Exhale, chaturanga. Remember, you can always pass through plank. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, rock and roll back. Right leg steps through. Coming into Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, takes us down and steps us back. From completing the vinyasa, returning to down dog, left foot will lead next. It's the same repetitious flow. If for any reason you need to skip a vinyasa, you can hold downward facing dog. If at any point in time you feel like you need to take a rest from down dog, you can take child's. Have choices, even though they're not always mentioned. Continue to tune into yourself to listen to your innate wisdom. Inhale, let's plant the feet at the top of the mat. Exhale, surrender. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we keep that rolling. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right foot, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha. Exhaling, Adho Mukha. Inhale, left foot, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue on your merry way. Pausing once you arrive at down dog. See how you can bring your hands more to lengthen your arms more, to open the pits of the arms more, to lengthen your side waist more, to open up the underside of the belly more. Press through the feet, roll the thighs, and open up the back side of your thighs and knees. Inhale, feet plant at the top, creating space between the two halves. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to prayer. Usually there's 5 of each. We're just doing 4 of each today. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, Chaturanga.
Inhale, open up the front of the body. Exhale, open up the back of the body. Inhale, right foot leads, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Step back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, take it back. Left foot leads, warrior one. God, it feels good to move. To feel warm, looking out at that snow. Exhale, release. Lower and come. Inhale, build up. Exhale, rock, roll back. Hold and breathe. Bringing this energization in so that we're revitalizing the mind and body. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Samadhi. All right, we get to move on. Hands to the hips, separate the feet. Shoulders roll back, gaze up towards the seat. Exhale, fold down. Remove your hands to bring them down to the big toes and loop the peace mudra around each one. Press the toes down into the fingers, press the thumb down into the toe down, and then fan the arms away from the legs. Tip your weight forward towards your toes. Form of Padangusthasana. Affirming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back from reclaiming my inner joy and peace. Right? We can override astrology. We know what's coming. We know how to prepare. We know how to prepare. We know how to respond. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, the hands are now going to plug under the feet. Padahastasana means foot over hand pose. And this is where sometimes we can put too much weight in the heels and not enough weight down through the hands. So tip your hips and torso forward and let the weight really bury down through the hands. Inversions are a way for us to replenish the mind I mentioned, and that's because we're allowing the energy and blood flow to pour here. Let go of any stress and worry, and just be here now. Remove the hands one at a time. Bring them up to your waist. Slowly come up to the top. You can jump or just step the feet together and the arms. All right, you're gonna do the front row. Step to the right, you're facing the snow. Your feet are nice and wide apart, but the right foot is gonna turn to the back side of your mat. Your arms are gonna lengthen out, you're stretching out over that side, and then windmill down to triangle pose. In triangle pose, the hand can reside on your shin or in front of your shin. It can also be cast down to the foot or the floor. If you go to the inside of the foot, make sure that you're bringing your heart and spine back instead of leaning forward. Or try placing the hand to the outside of the foot, which will naturally put you back into that alignment. Experience the rooting of the feet, the lifting of the knees, the drawing in of the abdomen, the lengthening of the ribs. And with those top fingers flying upward, use that hand to come up. Turn your right foot in. Rotate your left foot out. Good, switch your hips towards the back of your mat. Lengthen out over that front leg. and come down to this variation of triangle on this side. Each side may be different. Just because you reach the ankle or the floor before doesn't mean you necessarily should here. Roll open through your belly and chest. Use that prana into your system through the power of the breath. Inhale, use that top hand to draw yourself up. Exhale, relax your arms a moment. Now we're going to rotate the right foot to face the back of the mat. If you want to look at me just a moment, you can. The left foot will offset and turn in to square the hips. The left arm's going to reach up overhead. And then as you exhale, you're coming down. Again, hand to the inside or the outside of the foot. But you're revolving into the revolving format of triangle. The right hand can stay on the hip, or you can fly it overhead. This is more of a complex pose. Take your time with it. And please don't sacrifice the breath. Put your weight down into your feet so that you can inhale, come up with ease. And then we'll flip the feet the other direction. Left foot to the front. Right foot will offset, the hips will tee off. So change up your right foot, Amanda. So you would be here, like you were here, but you would just hop that foot over. It'll just be safer for your knee. Okay, where are we at? Here we are. Right arm sails up. Exhale, hinge forward. And as you're going down, you can rotate to your left. And then determine what is best for your left shoulder. Is it available to take the arm skyward? So you're catching and moving. Really ground your feet so that you can inhale safely. Come up. All right, we normally step to the front, but we're going to save time since we only have an hour. We're going to turn back so the feet are squared. Right foot's going to rotate to the back. Lunge that knee and really sink thoroughly through that thigh bone. Prop your elbow. Take your hand underneath your waist, your left hand. And as your left hand goes underneath your waist, you're going to help to peel yourself open. Yeah. And then fly that left arm skyward. Rotate the pinky towards your face. And then carry that arm across your ear. Super glue your back foot to the mat. Strengthen your breath. Side angle on this side, you'll slowly come up. Turn the right foot. Rotate the left foot. Lunge the knee. Drop thoroughly through that thigh bone. We usually don't sink enough through the front thigh. Prop onto the knee. Right hand is going to go underneath the waist. Peel open to radiate the right hand skyward. And then you can rinse out the shoulder, turning the pinky your direction, and then passing that arm over your ear. Cement your feet down. Be strong and form. Have long, strong breaths. Inhale, let's rise up. Relax the arms. Now, when you turn your right foot again, You can offset your left foot, keeping that ankle anchored down. That never feels good to my knee. Each person is different though. So what I do to avoid the discomfort of the knee is come to the ball of the foot. Then we rotate and twist, and your hands can either be in prayer position, or you can extend the left fingertips towards the floor and reach the right arm up in the air. So you have options. Do what feels more freeing and liberating in the now. Exhale, release. Plant the back foot if that heel was up. Safely return to stand. And then we'll process reverse side angle to the other side. To determine how you want your back footing. And then test the waters with the twist. Hands to prayer or arms wide open. There's also a way to find the arms. I just didn't instruct that on the previous side. Exhale, release the twist. Plant the back foot. Inhale, safely come up. All right. On. Now, when we rotate the feet around in those directions, it's possible that when we turn back here, one foot may be leading ahead of the other. So if that's the case, correct it. Hands to the hips, shoulders roll back, create little chair wings with your elbows, and start to fold. We're going to do B and C. There's usually 4 of these. We're just doing 2. Notice when you start to hinge forward and move towards the floor, we have the tendency to release the arms. You keep your shoulders back, keep your elbows lined up, and then rock your hips forward towards your toes. You got it. The more you ground your feet, the more you're going to activate your legs. So it's not just a stretch, there's a blend of strength and stretch. Inhale, let's slowly come up. All right, so I'm going to turn backwards so you can see this. We're moving into C, so lace your hands. And at first, I just want you to send your knuckles downward with the tailbone. All right, with the arms just releasing down, notice the ribs are more ironed in. If this is better for you, then you can stay here in this format. But if you want to crank the shoulders back, if you want to lift the arms and elevate them away from your sacrum, that may jet the ribs forward. Either way, we're going to fold. So find your way down into the pose. Prasarita Padottanasana C series. We're trying to crinkle the shoulders in towards the spine. Anytime we open up the shoulders, it's also helping us work into the heart chakra. Inhale, let's slowly come up. Remove the hands apart. See if you can bring the fingertips together and wiggle them upstream. But then you're not done because the shoulders and chair wings need to fly open. You got it. All right, from here, if that doesn't work out well for you, cross your arms, no big deal. Right foot's gonna turn to the back of the grip. The left foot will all sit plant down. Lean back into your hands, open up your chest and throat. And then as you exhale, slowly pour down. Glide your navel over towards the right leg. Even out your shoulders. Gaze towards your right foot. That straightens your neck, you can look towards your knee. From here, I give myself over into the flow of grace. Inhale slowly. Good, gently rotate. Each cross your arms, crisscross the other way. We're facing the front of the mat again. We're leaning back into the hands. Then as we exhale, hold. Lean the belly over the left leg. Parsvottanasana. Intense side stretch. Sometimes referred to as pyramid pose. This full moon is also in Cancer. There's a lot of water elements that will be showing up this year. It's predicted the sea levels will rise. Continents will change their shape. New islands or land masses will surface. Inhale, slowly start to come up. Ready, relax your arms and step up. So I did really kind of take a breath over the weekend when I saw Tonga got the volcano and they were giving the West Coast a tsunami warning. I was like, oh, here we go. So spread the left foot, the toes, round the foot, hand to the hip. Going into Padangusthasana A. Stand on solid ground. The nice thing is, if you ever look at the maps that were predicted of when the sea levels arise, Nashville's safe. We're in a safe zone. You want to create your safe zone here. That requires alignment. It requires attention. It requires integrity. It requires focus. Open up the hip. B. Bring it in front. Catch the hip with the other hand. Move to D. Right leg extends. Alright. If you haven't done Ashtanga in a while, sometimes the soles of the feet will start to cramp up a little bit. So anytime you can stretch out the soles of the feet just by walking it out. Alright, solidify your right foot. Stack and stand firmly on that side. Find your solid ground here. Pick up your left foot, catch that knee. Now the other alternative is to tie the toe and extend the leg. I didn't want to do all that stuff. You can. Open it. Bring it back to A. Transfer the hand to the hip. Take D. All right, moving towards tree, Vrikshasana. Standing and stacking on the left leg, bending the right knee, opening the hip. The foot can reside anywhere on the inside of the leg, low or high. You also have the option of half lotus. The hands can be together apart for centering. But you can also expand and create any form of tree of your life. Relax the arms and the foot. Stacking with intention on the right side. Opening the hip on the left side. Preparing for tree. You can also do half lotus. Your arms can be in any formation. And feel free to affirm and calm. Voice. Relax the arms. Put down. All right, stand back to the top of the mat. Start rolling again. Salutation seal, hands to heart. Remember your intention. Inhaling, let's open up. Exhale, let's hinge forward and dive in. Inhale, lift and lengthen out. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring some buoyancy to the knees and hips. Float it through to the top of the mat. Sit down on your seat. Extend your legs before you. Reach the arms overhead. And exhale, Paschimottanasana. So it may be that your hands need to be somewhere beside your legs. Try not to force finding the feet. If you can find the feet, you're drawing yourself down. Belly over thighs, heart radiating out towards the feet. You can look forward or look down. What's better for your neck? If you want to bring a little bit more into play, you can push your thigh bones down. You can press out through your heels and draw your toes back. That's if you want the extra. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands behind the back. Create some space with your hands from your seats. Slide your feet in. We're going into altar or reverse table. So we're lifting the seat off the floor. Trying to lift the belly and the heart towards the heavens. Now we're gonna skip some of the vinyasas at the end so that we can do more of the floor exercises. So come down to your seats. Take your left leg forward. Keep your right knee bent. Your right arm's gonna come to the inside of the right knee, and you're gonna turn your hand, forearm, upper arm, to create the binds. Your left arm extends out and then takes a swim behind the back. Maybe the hands clasp, maybe they don't, it's okay, either way. You're looking out again towards your foot, pressing down through the thigh bone. And of course, you could lower your head if that's too much for your neck. But remember, this here is our typical habit these days of constantly looking down. So you may want to do something to reverse that or to counter that. All right, inhale, we're coming up. And we're going to slide that foot on over. Arm is reached up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward and down. So I'm gonna give you a visual real quick. So if we just come straight down, right, the belly may flop to the inside and our shoulders might be tilted. And that's why we do that little revolving action through the belly so that the shoulders become more even. It does make a pretty profound difference. Inhale, let's rise. We're going to take the hands and scoop up underneath the heel. And we're going to try to set it into half lotus. And it's okay if the knee's hanging out unless it creates pain. If there's pain or strain, you can come back to this position here. Okay. If I were to just take the arm around without turning to the side, I only get so far. Trick of the trade, if you twist, you can go more to the waist or even find your foot. From wherever you attach your hand, now face the front of the room, lift the left arm, exhale, dive over. Inhale, half the lift. Exhale, remove the back arm. Lean into your hands, slide your left foot back. And this is probably what it's going to look like. But if you lean to the right sit bone, right, I'm here, then I can come here. If I lean to the right side of my seat, that knee lowers and the foot can potentially stay for the next sequence. If that doesn't occur or if it feels too funky or awkward, your right foot is going to lower behind your left foot. And you can stay grounded on both sides of your seat. So it just depends which form you're taking. Left arm reaches ahead. And then you create that bind, that wrap. And then the left arm circles behind you and you bow. Relax. Okay. Oh, the father's home. I don't know what you need to hear the people here. That's what that is. Left knee bends. We started just a little late, so I'm going a little under. Left arm reaches forward into the inside. And then twist, twist, turn, turn. Create the wrap. I was going to tie it up with the knees. You're good. We're good. Right arm circles around. Good. You can always get more to that right leg if you so desire. But remember, sometimes we want to do too much. And if we do too much, we can, it's kind of called stripping the muscles. So you want to be cautious not to strip the muscles. And if you go by the philosophy of finding the balance of effort and ease, you're less apt to go there, and you're honoring ahimsa, the non-harming, non-injury, non-violence, or compassion in action, to be affirmative. Inhale, let's come up. Let's move that foot on over for Jani Shavasana. Arms lift overhead. Exhale, pull down. Christy, is that Mike? Is he okay? Let that navel kind of spin over towards the front thigh. Inhale, let's bring it on. We're going to scoop up underneath the left heel, draw it over. And the left arm will circle around. If you take that little twist, it will be a little leading edge there. The right arm extends up.
And there was a while, I think it was last year, on one side, I could not fold. I just had to stay here in the pose. So truly pay attention to your body. You can stop at any place along the way. Action and action. That is going to be one of the things for 2022. More empathy, more compassion, more unity. There will be big events that will bring us back together. Maybe a little divide in the beginning. It's all going to begin to heal. Inhale it slowly, come up. Repeat that bind, slide the right foot back. And if you move towards that left sit bone, you're ready to move to the next phase. If you can't do that or it hurts your ankle, right? Just drop your foot down and don't worry about it. All right, right arm reaches through, binding the right leg. Left arm behind and drape the head down. It's a very inward, introspective type of pose, position to be in. Gently release the arms. All right, typically we go back into a flow. We would be doing core work and arm balances. We're skipping that today. We're running out of time. So feet together. Lift up to the ground. Since the moon is in Cancer and it's more the water element, let's do a little bit of the hip work instead of the arm balances. Unless you really want those arm balances. Christy, what do you think? Hips? I'm all about it. Okay, let's do hips. Adhakanasana. Remember, one of the spiritual lessons of the second chakra is adaptability, being able to go with the flow, being able to change and adapt to whatever comes our way. It's also that cool, watery piece. Inhale it, slowly come up. Let's latch the first two fingers around each big toe. We're going to sit back on our sits bones. Now, if you want to be here, that's fine. It's like an upward version of Happy Baby. Or you can do the upward version of Konasana, wide ankle. Good, lift your chest up. Take the feet down and fold. So your hands can rest on thighs, shins, toes, or the floor. If you happen to have your hair tied up in the back like I do, you may want to take it down. Because we're going to go into the wide legged form of plow. Oh my God, mine's all knotted up. Okay. So as we come up, we're going to return. Make sure there's nothing to get around you. We're going to come up here. We're going to roll back. And then we're going to try to roll back and catch ourselves in that seat. We may have to bend your knees. Kind of fun to play with. Bring the legs together, maybe. And you can have some distance between your head and your feet, your belly and your thighs, or you can bend your arms and close in. They're two different poses. I know. I had to roll back too, man. That's okay. If you do, just go back to plow.
I'm going like it's like a toy on a gym.
All right, well, bend the knees. We need to start closing this out, but I want to give you an inversion. Have your arms out in front, scoop the belly in, roll back slowly, mindfully.
Flip your palms to face down. Slide your feet back. To Bandhasana, so ground your feet. Charge your hamstrings. Fire up your glutes. Lift your hips. So for a long time last year, this is all I could do at bridge. My bridge was lost for a little while. But if your low back feels good, if your SI joints are good today, tuck the shoulders under the body, lace your hands together, see if you can tuck and lift a little higher. See if your chest can puff more towards your chin. See if you can really push down to the mound of the big toes. Those in our thighs active, strengthening those in our quads. If you want to stay here, feel free. If you want to flip your hands over your shoulders, which I don't feel like doing today, but if you want to lift to wheel or upward bow, press into your palms and feet, circle up, and your head will be lifted off the floor. It'll be in more of an inversion. Take your time with it. If you strike the pose, hold it for several breaths. When you're ready to come out of wheel, you tuck the chin to the chest, you lower to the back of your head like we are in bridge. And then we'll remove the hands apart for those of us in bridge. We'll broaden the shoulders and roll it down one vertebra at a time. Now hug your knees in. In Ashtanga, we would end with a shoulder stand series after this bridge, as well as a headstand. But since it's the full moon and we're running out of time, we're going to end with a twist. If you really want that headstand, you can come up to do that. But I'll lead you into a twist. If you sink your feet to the floor and cross your right leg over your left, we're going to open up the arms and we're going to target the QL moment by allowing the foot that's stationed on the floor to roll to the inside. So the knees are actually going to the right. If it's too much for the legs to be crossed, you can always uncross. Ways to modify. Inhale, bring the knees back up. And exhale, let the knees roll off to the left. That right foot can work as a kickstand to keep the knees elevated. If it's too much of a twist for your low back. If it feels lovely to the low back, then just come to the inside of the foot and let the knees get heavier. Inhale, roll back to center, uncross. Cross left leg over right. Squeeze those inner thighs a little bit. And for the first round, we're lowering the knees left. Open up that QL on the right side of the back. And it may feel possibly significantly different between the two sides. It's just information, good information for you to know about yourself and your body and where you're storing stress and tension. Notice where you need to be a little bit more compassionate. Honoring that principle of the hip side. Inhale, draw the knees up. Keep the legs crossed the same way, but now roll the foot the other direction. Again, that left foot can work as a kickstand. You need higher elevation for the knees, so you're not digging so much into your low back. But that may feel really freeing for you
bodies definitely are impacted by life and life circumstances and situations, relationships. Inhale. Uncross and only hug your left knee in. Release the left, hug in the right. Cooling down now. This is what I'd like you to do for Shavasana. So take one last breath on this side. When you release, roll to your right side body. And I want you to create a restorative position for Shavasana. And we're going to create Stonehenge here. The blocks are the pillars. And the bolster is going to be set on top. Now, yesterday, I want to show you something. Yesterday in the studio, oh, sorry. Yeah, grab the cross. Yesterday in the studio, someone was doing this pose before class even started, and they were doing it like this. Do you see how their knees are just hanging in the air? This pose is actually supposed to be supportive of the knees. So you need to scoot closer so that the knees are closer to the edge of the bolster. And it makes a big difference, not only for your knees, but for your back. And since you may or may not have done Ashtanga in a while, I mentioned sometimes the soles of the feet can cramp up. But sometimes we also feel it in our back because there is a lot more physical movement. So let this cater to your low back. Just like it's catered to your knees. And I would suggest, which you're all are intuitively doing, hands resting somewhere on the body, whether it's your thighs, your hips, or your abdomen. Because the hands residing on the body can help you to ground your energy. That's important for today's full moon. We're done with the active postures, so you can reside in stillness. You can move out of the Ujjayi pranayama into your diaphragmatic breath. Perhaps you can even picture the fullness of the moon in your mind's eye. Let it be illuminated. Let the moonbeam shine down into your psyche, to your heart, to your body.
7 more breaths. Slowly begin to bring your knees in, wrap your arms around in a warm, loving embrace. Roll to one side of your body. Slowly build yourself up to sit. Once sitting, join your hands together, remembering your intention for being here today. I'm so happy that you had the courage to come to the studio today with the weather. Move your body, and hopefully to warm your soul. Light within me honors and bows to the beautiful, radiant light in each of you. Namaste. Driving over. Having my